Growing up in Canada, and people live and die for hockey, and to be able to go out there on the biggest stage and represent your country, it's a huge honor, and couldn't be happier. I think my parents were a little bit more excited than I was for me to be able to go out there and represent my family. Is a huge honor.
How did you find out?
Julian actually called me. I think it was a couple days before they announced the rosters, and he just let me know that I made it. So it was pretty surreal in the moment, getting that phone call. Called my parents right away, and like I said, just very, very excited.
How's everybody doing? Bulls Nation, you guys good? It's fantastic to see you guys as always. Can you guys hear us okay out there, especially the guys in the back? Everybody feeling good? Okay.
It's a good sign. There's no shovels or pitchforks or, fans aren't in revolt yet.
They're not raging against us. So welcome once again to another episode of the Bolts Block Party Live, powered by our awesome friends at Highlight IPA. We thank them so much for powering this whole shindig. Give them a round of applause. They're fantastic. Got a couple of tall boys over here. And how about some love for Bobby the Chief Taylor? We cannot thank Bobby. He was just on the block party last week. Brian Bradley dropped today. Brad's the next addition to the Lightning Hall of Fame along with Rick Peckham. So what a great 3 in a row with Rick and then Chief and then Brad. So
made our job easy. Those guys just talk. We just ask one question and away they go.
Those guys like to talk a lot. So we didn't have to do a whole lot there. But we roll right into our live show. And are you guys ready? Are they ready? I don't know if they are. Are they ready? Okay. So are you guys ready to see who your guest is this evening? Bolts Nation, make some noise for number 71, Anthony Cirelli. Yeah. Yes, sir. Tony's in the house. You guys surprised? That was a pretty loud ovation, Tony.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They were waiting for you, bud.
They were excited you got their skinny jeans on. I think that's the reason.
The chirping starts right off the rip, as it should. So, Tony, thank you guys. First and foremost, I know Retcher told you guys about the question cards on your table. Now that you know Cirelli is here, please feel free to put your questions down. We'll get to those questions after we do the hat trick at the end of the show. So I just wanted to throw that out there before we get rolling. So, Tony, you're now a 3-timer to the block party. And I actually, you started, I think, in the bubble. You did a thing with Seth, and then you and Kobe and Seth were in a closet. And now you see we have grown up. We've migrated to live shows.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
We crawled out of that.
I did go back and look at that. I'm like, man, they were literally in a closet. They threw you guys in a closet.
The block party's come a long ways.
We have come a long way. So thank you for being here. I did go back and watch that episode, and something that Kobe said about you, which I thought resonated, was the first game that you got called up from the crunch, and you had an absolutely stellar game versus Dallas. You had a point, you had an assist. You never looked back, and he said that was the difference maker for him about who you were as a player and a grinder, that he saw maturity in you at a young age, and it filled a void. Absolutely impressive because you never went back.
It was the first and last nice thing I said about you, I think.
So, Kobe, talked to him about his game now compared to when you guys last had that conversation.
Yeah, and we all have. We've had the front row seat to see you evolve. And I just kind of wanted to get your opinion and how you feel your game has changed since you first made your debut in 2016.
Yeah, obviously getting called up as a young guy and first coming here and you're just trying to go kind of as hard as you can every second that you get out there.
So what's changed?
I guess, not much. I think for me personally, that's kind of what I try and do is just go out there and kind of work as hard as I can. I think learning over the years, maybe that's not the case where you have to be going as fast as you can all the time. You watch, obviously, the greats do it and big example is Cooch, is how he kind of slows the game down. He finds those open areas, draws guys to him. So I think just trying to, playing more games and over the years, just kind of learning the game a little bit more on when you can go 100%, when you should slow down maybe and find an opening. But yeah, I still try and work as hard as I can every time I'm out there.
I mean, 2 years ago also, you were quoted as saying on the same show that when they asked, what would you like to see get better about your game, you said, I think I'm trying to get better in all aspects of my overall game, but my offensive game to get better, score more goals. Do you feel that you've accomplished that in the last 2 years?
Trying to.
Yeah, no,
I mean, yeah, obviously offense is a big part of the game, and I mean, you got to score goals to win. So, but I think first and foremost is just trying to be good defensively. That's what I was brought up going through junior, coming here to Tampa. My biggest thing was be good in the D zone, be reliable there, and not give up much, and the offense will come. So I think I've tried to stick true to that. And obviously everyone wants to produce a little bit more offensively, so chipping in when I can.
So do you embrace that role? Because you have probably, there's just a bunch of tough roles in the team, but every single night you are, your task is you got to go against the other team's top line. You got to play against those. You get I think the hardest minutes on the team. Is that something you embrace, or is that something you kind of maybe like, hey, as I move along in my career, I wouldn't mind getting away from a little bit. Maybe I can show a little bit more offense, or is that kind of Selke mentality is something you really kind of have driven into your psyche?
Yeah, I think something I embrace. I mean, everyone has a role in the team, and that's kind of what makes teams work is everyone has a job to do, and they got to go out there and do their job. So, if that's my job to go out there and be good defensively and try and shut down other teams' top lines, I'm going to take pride in that and try and do that every single night. Like you said, I do want to produce more offensively, but first and foremost is keeping those guys off the score sheet.
So let's talk about last night real quick, because, again, in a season, and we all know it's a long season, it's actually kind of interesting because Julian met with the press yesterday to kind of give like a mid-season report card. And one of the things that he kept preaching, and we've heard it 1,000 times, is process over outcome, and the process over outcome mentality. And if we stick to the process, the outcome will come. And so for you guys as players, and you have a game like last night where you outshoot your opponent, they're one of the worst teams in the league, and then I think our fans go, oh my God, we're imploding, we just lost to the worst team in the league. They think it's the end of the world, but it's really not. But for you guys, sticking with that process after a game like last night, are you able to just push that one aside and know it's just one game, we played well, the puck didn't go in, it's just one of those games? And does it seem like every single goalie that we're playing this season is having the best night of their life when they play us? Am I wrong in that assessment?
No.
It's like unreal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got to feel the same way, right?
Yeah, it feels like every night we're going against the brick wall for some reason. But I mean, I think you said it right, and what Julian said, it's just a process that we have to stick to. I mean, if we continue to do the right things and be in the right spots and keep on playing the right way, good things are going to start to happen. I mean, the biggest thing is keeping the puck in the net, and I thought over the last month we've done that. I don't think we've given up too many goals every night. Obviously, the offense is kind of not there right now, and that's something we're working on. But I think if we just keep on sticking to our game and playing the right way, eventually good things are going to come. And, obviously it stings in the moment. Obviously you don't want to be losing that game last night. And it sucks for a bit, but, we woke up this morning, we did some video. We got to keep on moving and keep on staying positive and move on to the next.
Tony, I wanted to ask about, the process, but you want to learn, you keep growing from different games, and you're trying to add and change different parts of your game as you guys move along, and you want to address different situations. How hard is that when, I think in the last month you guys have had, is it two practices? Two practices.
Today was our third practice.
Third practice in this month. Like, I just think that's very unique. Like, what do you have to do if you can't get the time in, the schedule just doesn't allow it? You guys, you're playing, you're traveling, you're doing all these things. What kind of things do you do if you can't practice?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of video, just trying to watch things and what we can do better in. But, I mean, it's not the same as going out into practice and actually working on things that we need to be better at and working on our spots. And then, morning skate, sometimes we try and turn it into some drills that we need to work on. Because like you said, we didn't have much practice time. And it's a big part of it. When you're playing every game, I mean, you have the puck, maybe 2 minutes on your stick per game. I mean, so you're not really having a chance to kind of work on what we need to be working on. But that's no excuse. Every team goes through it, and we had a great practice today, just working on things that we feel like we could do a little bit better. And we just got to take that into the game. I'm
sure that can promote chemistry too. And I want to talk about a guy that when I watch the games, you have tremendous chemistry with, and that's Hagel. You guys seem to be really good friends on the ice. You guys always seem to have each other's backs, really good friends off the ice. I guess the one thing I'm always curious is, you see on the TV and you're watching kind of a scrum going on. It seems like Hagel is always in some sort of scrum. He's always saying something. And you got a big smile on your face. You're right beside him. I don't know if you can give us an inside view on what Hags is saying, maybe his best chirps, whether you get in on the chirps or you catch some stray bullets every once in a while.
I mean, it's probably not great to say what Hags says on the ice over here. But he's feisty. I mean, he brings that passion to our game. He's always in the mix of it. He's always saying something to somebody, maybe pissing them off a little bit too much, and everyone's got to get in there, and we're in a huge scrum now. But, I mean, that's what kind of brings guys into the fight, not just our line, but everyone in the game. You see guys going in scrums and sticking up for each other. It just builds us a little bit closer. And it's the way he plays. He's hardworking. He's in there. He's on pucks. He's finishing hits. He kind of does it all for us. And I love playing with him, obviously. And it's fun to get in those scrums once in a while.
What's the worst thing about Hags?
Oh, boy.
Oh, the worst thing about Hags? He's pretty feisty on the card table. He brings that passion.
Overly competitive?
Overly competitive in the card table.
So like a poor sport?
Like if you make a wrong play, you're not hearing the end of it for the 4-hour flight back.
I feel like you guys have had some card games in your day too.
Yeah, I like to think that maybe I trained Cirelli
at the table,
so I don't know.
Grandpa Kobe over here. So let's also, we're talking hockey. Let's talk about continuity, right? So you've been with a lot of different teammates, a lot of different line mates, guys come and go. How have you been able to maintain your game, but also mesh with the new guys? And realistically, in your mind, how long do you feel it should take to have that continuity? I believe we asked Julian that same question when the season started. We knew we had a lot of pieces coming and going. And in his mind, the GM's mind, the coach's mind, I feel like they have a time frame. By this point in the season, there should be good continuity. But for you as a player, what's a realistic outlook on that?
Yeah, I think going through training camp and just, having the new guys come around and just kind of welcome them right away, puts them at ease a bit. Just having that team feel where they could go and be themselves and they could kind of play their game. And obviously system-wise and stuff, I'm not sure. I think everyone on our team has a pretty high hockey IQ, so I don't think it's that much. But I'd say maybe the first couple weeks of the year, you're just kind of trying to get into it. And by that time, everyone's close with each other by then. And we do a good job of having kind of team events where we can hang out with guys' families too, and just get to know them as a person. So I think that's huge in team building.
What about a guy that this year everything's new for, and that's Connor Geekie? Can you talk to us about the relationship you have with him, just what you've seen from him this season?
Yeah, no, Geeks is awesome. Really good kid. Just trying to help him out when you can. I remember when I was coming up and I had guys like you and Callahans, Girardis, these guys that I looked up to, and they kind of took me under their wing and welcomed me right away. I felt part of the team right away, and that was a huge kind of confidence booster, in my eyes, in my game, where, everyone's making me feel welcome and I could just go out there and play. So just trying to do the little things that kind of makes it easy for them to come and play.
What are some of the geeky moments you've seen this year that you like? No, yeah, that's a rookie, right? You recognize that he's a rookie.
I think when I finish practice and I go on Twitter and I see Gabby tweet the first person on the ice, and every time it's Geekie. I'm like, okay, he'll learn. But other than that, he's just a young kid. He keeps quiet. He doesn't do anything out of the ordinary, I'd say. Put put him on the spot here. Would he?
That's what Kobe does best.
Yeah, that's what he does.
He does best.
I like digging dirt, especially on
Yeah, you like
young
digging dirt.
Western League hockey player guys like Geeks. I think his game, we really see like the maturity of, and it's not easy. It's 82 games, and the NHL is a grind, and we saw him kind of come out of the gates and make the team, and it was such a high. And then there's a little bit of a low spot, I think, where his game kind of, sunk in a little bit. But I feel like lately has he really been embracing like a physicality. He's a big dude, and last night was no exception. You see him throwing his body around and kind of getting involved in different ways. Have you noticed that, especially when he was playing on your line?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he, like you said, he's a big body, and he finishes every hit. And what I think for him too is he is a big body, but he brings that speed. He flies through the neutral zone. He's in on pucks on the forecheck. He's a really smart player where he can make plays, and he has a big shot. So, I mean, he has all the tools there, and I think it's just him gaining confidence, game by game. I mean, it's hard coming in as 20 years old, and now you're playing 82 games instead of 60. So,
yeah.
And it's obviously against a lot bigger guys and a lot
Against men,
faster
yeah,
speed.
for sure.
But I think he's been great for us all year round, and he's just going to get better.
All right, let's get back to talking about Tony now.
Let's
enough
talk
about Hagel and Geekie. Let's talk about Tony.
You diverted a little bit. Let's talk Four Nations Cup, man. Let's give him a round of applause. I mean, Kobe and I were talking outside, and I mean, I think Kobe, you said it really well. Like, you've kind of been that unsung hero for our team, but kind of the guy that's flown under the radar a little bit on the national scale. And so for you to finally get that recognition on an international scale, how does that feel?
Team Canada is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's, back home, and I know this in Team USA, and it's going to be a fantastic tournament, but you look at the lineup and the guys that are in this list, and the CU and Hags included, I think it's just, it's well overdue, and the recognition is well earned because, we know we've had a front seat to all your great accomplishments and knowing how you play, but man, like just to see you put that maple leaf on your sweater and represent the country, it's going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge honor. Anytime you could wear that Canadian flag, I know we're in the States here and you guys are rooting against me, but...
I didn't hear any boos, so that's good,
Yeah, but, growing up in Canada and, people live and die for hockey. And to be able to go out there on the biggest stage and represent your country, it's a huge honor. And couldn't be happier. I think my parents were a little bit more excited than I was. They growing up and all the money that they put into hockey, it's an expensive sport, and for them to get me through it and help me get to where I am today, and for me to be able to go out there and represent my family is a huge honor.
How did you find out? Like, how did that call come, or who told you?
Yeah, Julian actually called me. I think it was a couple days before they announced the rosters, and he just let me know that I made it. So it was pretty surreal in the moment, getting that phone call. Called my parents right away, and like I said, just very, very excited.
You mentioned you're really tight with your parents, and I know I'll let Greg kind of go into this a little bit, but we have, is it Italian Heritage?
It's tomorrow. Did you know tomorrow's Italian? Okay, so tomorrow night is Italian Heritage Night as we take on the Kings. So there's lots of cool features, and they have a special ticket offer and the whole nine. So we know you're a chicken parm guy, right? So if you were to ever open a restaurant called Cirelli's, all right, and you had fantastic dishes on your menu, would you name...
That's debatable.
Would you name any of the dishes after your players? I'll give you an example. Like Ryan, mac and cheese, Dunna, or maybe Gensel's gnocchi. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
gnocchi with
gnocchi,
a G,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Would you have any items on your restaurant menu that would be named after your teammates?
What about Kobe steak Italian extravaganza?
Kobe's Chianti, all right?
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just took them all.
I know. I get credit if that actually happens. Any aspirations, though, to maybe, go with the Italian route and open a facility, maybe?
I'd love to, yeah.
Okay.
If anyone
I mean, the name
is in the
Cirelli is
restaurant
just-
business and wants to partner up,
Okay.
I mean, I'm game.
I feel like you'd be like Rocky, like you'd be a good maitre d', like at the front, like, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome.
I'm not a
Here's your
mob
seats."
boss.
Well, okay, so growing up, I think your mom's maiden name is Petrolino. Is that right?
Her maiden name?
Her maiden name?
No, her maiden name?
Yeah.
Maiden name.
You don't know?
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
I do. Give me a second. For Jone. For Jone.
Okay, so obviously a very Italian family, and I just wanted to know, like, growing up, going to grandma and grandpa's, would you guys speak Italian in the house? Like, were you ever, how much Italian influence did you have in your house?
Yeah, so my parents can speak Italian, but it's not like from Italy Italian where they have the accent or anything. But my grandparents both fully Italian. They started to pick up English once they got here, but they speak Italian pretty much the whole time. They would come over every Sunday night, and then they make the pizzas and the pastas, and we have a big family dinner.
Sunday dinner. You called it.
Sunday
Called it.
dinner.
He called it.
Sunday dinner.
I thought maybe you had some marinara in your veins or something like that, you know?
No, but I can't speak Italian, but I understand it, if that makes sense.
Really?
Like if someone says something in Italian, like they're talking to me, I know what they're saying, but I can't respond. I respond in English.
I feel like you got an accent. I don't know. Just what I think.
That's interesting. So you lived through a hurricane. That's the official initiation as a Floridian. So welcome to Florida officially. But take us back to that because you kind of went through it. I mean, I know a lot of our fans and our fan base and just people in the Tampa Bay area all dealt with it, myself included, Kobe. Like just we all had to deal with something, but yours was pretty bad. And your house got flooded and you lost a vehicle. Do you have to deal with the insurance companies just like the rest of us? Or like what happened that whole time?
Yeah, no, I kind of a financial team, and they took care of it, which
Okay.
made it easy for me.
We all wish we could have a financial team.
team.
That's why I was curious. Like,
Yeah.
are you on the phone with the insurance company, or like, no?
I
My
did.
financial team handles. Okay.
I got this guy, Rocco. He takes care of me.
One call and he handles it.
Yeah.
But like, so I mean, was that like? I mean, that's a scary situation to be in. Didn't you have to get like canoed out by a neighbor and like?
Yeah,
car
so
got
like
flooded and-
I mean, the issue is that I have a golf cart, and the golf cart started making noises.
Okay.
So then I started kind of panicking a bit because I was trying to sleep and I couldn't because
Of course.
it was beeping. So I actually called
Quit
Hetty.
pushing the horn.
And it's just a horn. Yeah, I wish. So I called Hetty, and I was like, my golf cart's beeping. Like, what do I do?
Fair enough.
And he's like, you have to go and shut the battery off.
Right.
But he's like, but I had water in my garage already, like probably a couple feet.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, but don't go in the water. And I'm like, okay. So I'm showing him on FaceTime.
Yeah.
So he's like, jump on the barbecue onto this to get on the thing. So then I'm maneuvering on here, and I'm sweating. Now I'm like panicking
Oh
because
my
I hear panic in Hetty's voice a bit, so I'm like panicking. I go in there and I open the battery, and I'm showing Hetty, and then there's water in the battery already.
Oh boy.
And as soon as he sees, he's like, get out. I'm like, great.
Wow.
So then I go back in the house, and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Thanks, Hetty.
yeah, I was like, all right, thanks, Hetty. Because he's like, then his wife got on the call, and he's like, do you have a lithium battery cart by chance? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, it might blow up. So I'm like,
Great.
I'm
Thanks.
like, great. She's like, you didn't watch the news today? And I was like, no, I did
Yeah.
not watch the news this
Right.
morning.
Yeah.
So anyways, my neighbor 2 doors down is, he's goes to college here,
Okay.
and they have a generator house, and he texted me, he's like, well, they were swimming in the water 4 hours ago, like having a great time.
Right.
And I saw him, and he's like, hey, if you need anything, like, come by. I was like, so he texted me, he's like, are you good? I was like, I don't know, my golf cart might blow up, other than that, I'm okay. And he texted me, he's like, don't worry, I got you. And I was like, what? And he's like, don't worry, I got you. And
Okay.
wink emoji. So I'm like, okay.
That's how you know it's good.
The wink emoji,
A
right?
couple minutes later, I get a ring on the doorbell, and I go outside, and he's in a canoe.
Yeah.
Like on a plastic kayak.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, hop in. So I grabbed my dog, and we hopped in, and he canoed us over to his house.
Wow. Unreal, man. Well, we're glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Things can be replaced. You cannot. So I'm glad, that's a crazy situation. Thank you so much. We'll get to those in just a second. Before we do our questions and we get into our hat trick, I did want to do a little something fun here, Kobe. Wanted to do a little game called Most Likely To. So basically, I'm going to give you a most likely to situation, and you tell me who on the team you think is most likely to do this.
Okay.
Most likely to leave something on the team plane.
Paulie.
Is he like the new team clown?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. Did you get to keep the helmet with the cup? I thought that was genius, actually.
Yeah, everyone thought it was funny.
It was really good, actually. Did you get to keep that?
No.
I thought he should have gave you a real present after that.
I know, really. It's kind of, I agree with
he's
that.
cheap. Yeah, I get it.
All right, most likely to be a coach after hockey.
Ryan McDonough.
I feel like he already is a coach. It's a good answer. Most likely to play a villain in a movie.
Cooch.
Great answer. Most likely to know lyrics to Taylor Swift songs.
Braden Point. I mean, he knows lyrics to every song.
Okay.
So,
Most likely to get lost in our own city.
Braden Point.
All right. Most likely to give the best advice.
Not heady.
Not Eddie.
No, I'm going to go with Eddie.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Eddie.
All right. So
He has to be. It was your first call, when your house is
Yeah,
going to blow
I
up
mean,
for your
yeah.
golf cart.
he did.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into our fan questions, and we also will have autograph giveaways. You guys got tickets. We'll give that away here in a little bit. But so, Tony, we do a little segment here called the Hat Trick, powered by our friends at Highlight IPA. And what these are AI-generated questions, 1 through 100. And the questions are to aim to spark deep insights and offer compelling glimpse into the mindset, strategies, and challenges faced by professional hockey players, coaches, and staff. We just need 3 random numbers from you that mean something to you. Could be your junior hockey number, could be your current number, it doesn't matter, but 3 numbers that mean something to you.
15.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
And 71.
Gotta go with 71. Okay. 15. What is your pregame meal usually?
No, it's not chicken parm. That's a little bit too heavy before a game. Usually I have a home meal on the road. At home I have pasta with salmon and sweet potato, and on the road I have pasta and chicken with a salad.
And you pretty much stick to that? Is that like not superstitious, but like you feel like that's...
Yeah, I feel like that's just what I've been eating kind of my whole life, so...
Okay. It's like equivalent of us eating chicken fingers all the time. Like you stick to the things
Stick
that you
with it,
can't
yeah,
copy
yeah,
that.
stick with
All
it.
right, Kobe.
Has there ever been a player that you have been legitimately scared of?
You.
Stop.
I was there to help you,
Oh, you want another answer?
Yeah.
Not a real.
A real one. A real
A
one.
real.
A real one. You weren't scared of me.
On a different team?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Gotta clarify that.
I'll go with Zdeno Chara.
Yeah.
Like if he squared up with you, I mean, you'd still go. Or you would, I mean, would you just try to...
I mean, I'd try, but I'd probably be in the hospital for a bit. But, I mean...
You just grab one of his legs and start pulling,
That's all you can do, right? All right, finally, on the hat trick here, 71, your number. How does a team stay united during adverse times?
I think just, being positive and just sticking together. I think in a locker room, there's 82 games, and I think at certain points everyone eventually faces some adversity. And I think it's what we do as a group and just in what we say to each other, how we go out there, how we stick up for each other. I think when times are going tough, as long as we're in it together and playing for the guy next to you, I think that's when good things happen and gets you kind of out of that funk.
Love it. All right. Jay Retcher, you got the mic in hand. Here we go. Charles Martin. Where's Charles at? Put your hand up, Charles. Jay's going to come over to you with the microphone with your question for Mr. Cirelli. Charles, what you got, buddy?
Hey, this is Charles, but my name's Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Cirelli. My
what's going
question is, in 2020, other than winning the cup, what was your favorite moment of all those series, like in the bubble? Do you have a favorite moment, and what is it?
I'd probably say when I scored in overtime to get us to the finals. Yeah.
Great moment. We still all remember that. Michelle. Where's Michelle at? Left side near the doors. Right here, Jay. Michelle's got a good question, too. It's on topic. Kind of touched on this a little bit, but she has a good question. Michelle?
Hey, I was curious, besides Crosby, who are you looking most forward to playing with or against for the Four Nations?
That's a good question.
Probably say Marner. I train with him in the summers, actually, so he's a good buddy of mine. So, we've been going at it for years in the playoffs and the regular season. He's on a rival team, so I think it'd be pretty cool to play with him, since I've been training with him for over 10 years now and good buddies off the ice. So I think it'd be pretty cool to go out there with him.
Tony, Sticks of Fire. Where you at, Tony? Tony's got a good one here.
What was your moment in your career where you realized I really can compete at the NHL level?
That's a good question. Trying to think back. I think maybe it was just those first kind of, 18 games I played when I got called up, and I was able to play with some pretty good players in Killorn and Gord, and just building with them game after game, and then going through that playoffs. We ended up losing to Washington in the conference finals, but I think just being able to go and compete at that level in the playoffs, I knew I could play in the NHL, and it was my job to kind of go in the summer and have that confidence that I belong and I could play, and just have a really good summer and come into training camp and try and make the team to be here for a full season. So I thought, those games were huge for me in my development.
Love it. All right, Bay. Where is Bay? Center back, it says. Bay, B-A-Y, like as in Tampa. Bay. Like it. There we go.
Is that a thing here?
It is a thing here. Did you not know that? You've been to a Buccaneer game. Tampa Bay. Come on, Tony.
I was going to say Baden. I don't know.
Okay. Bay, what do you got?
My name is Bailey, actually. They
Oh,
wrote
Bailey,
it.
okay.
But do you miss living with Hagel and Cora?
Sometimes. Sometimes. We had a good time. It was awesome living with him, and we'd hang out, watch movies, and relax. And he's a good buddy to have, when we're just hanging around. So it was a lot of fun being able to live with him.
Tony, I know you're like a big fan of really, really bad TV. So what are you watching lately?
Like reality TV, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've grown up a bit since I played with you.
Bullshit.
Right now, I was watching that new show, Night Agent, that came out, season 2. Yeah.
Okay. Who's currently got the aux cord in the locker room? We've heard some questionable music selections in there prior, so just curious who's rocking the tunes lately.
Right now, it's Mikey Icemont.
Mikey still got it. Like, didn't we hear that when we talked to him?
Yeah,
he said he was on.
Yeah, he's on. I mean, we cut him for a bit, and now he's back.
Brief suspension.
Yeah, brief suspension.
Did you know Zemgus has a hip hop track? Have you?
Yeah,
heard
that's
it?
been played in the room a bunch of
Okay, I
times.
was wondering
actually.
if you guys knew. Do you guys know Zemgus has a hip hop track in his?
Well, no, he didn't make it, but
No,
someone,
he didn't, but somebody did. It's actually pretty good. And
Yeah.
if he scores a goal, I think we have it ready to rock, so
Yeah.
you can let him know that. Guys, give it up for him. Tony Cirelli here. Another episode of the Bolts Block Party Live. Thanks to our friends at Highlight IPA. We are going to have another live episode, actually, we're almost in February, so it's going to be a quick turnaround.
and it will be happening, I believe, during the Four Nations Cup. So that'll be our live one since you guys were giving you the intel now, so you get a little jump on it. But Tony, thank you so much for being here. We couldn't thank you enough. As a 3-time guest here on the Bolts Block Party, only a few have been 3-timers, so you have officially gotten that crown. So thank you so much for being here. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you guys. We got some giveaways coming up. Stick around, and we'll check you guys next week on the Bolts Block Party.